to confirm that against Prague.
It's Arsenal's worst domestic start to a season for 11 years, an injury mounted and 14 points behind Chelsea.
It's not good enough.
Tonight, Arsene Wenger risks Thierry Henry to help stop the rot.
Players with his experience are very important.
Can salvation come from successful old boys? Nigel Winterburn will try and explain just what's going on at Highbury. Although a look at Group B makes good reading for all Arsenal fans, they top the table with 2 wins from their opening fixtures, so arguably in the Champions League they can't be faulted. But which form would show itself tonight in Prague? David Pleat and John Champion were in the Czech capital to find out.
They're the first English club to put 18 names on a Champions League team sheet without a single one of them belonging to an Englishman. They were the first to reach that point in the Premiership back in February. Now they've created a European record. The main reason is the absence of the 2 homespun regulars, Campbell and Cole. Also missing are Bergkamp, Kleb and Ljungberg. The accident-prone Sigon replaces Senderos. Thierry Henry is available from the bench. In contrast, 9 of the Sparta team are Czechs, and to a half that contained one moment of genius. But we've been privileged to see a vintage moment from Thierry Henry. Arsenal didn't want to have to use him, but I bet they're glad that their hand was forced. The half-time score here in the Czech Republic is Sparta Prague 0, Arsenal 1. Live in the mind, long beyond his...
How does this sound? Thierry Henry, Arsenal's record goal scorer.
Sounds great. I think the fans here of Sparta Prague maybe didn't realize why I was celebrating like that a bit, you know, making some signs, you know, to our fans, you know, trying to draw, you know, the 186. I don't know what to say really. It just was an important game for us, you know, after the game against West Brom. So, you know, obviously I scored the 2 goals tonight, but we showed some great characters, you know, after the defeat against West Brom, and we put the ball in the back of the net when we needed to. So that's the most important thing. But obviously I'm just over the moon about the record. And Wrighty was a great player and will always remain as a legend for Arsenal. So for me to beat him was just tremendous. I wanted to do it at Highbury, but well, you know, I always said if I had to score, I will score.
Can you begin to put into words his value to this club? We spoke about his psychological value, but, you know, look at the facts. He's the record goal scorer.
As well, you know, it gives belief to the rest of the team. We know that you can score at any moment with Thierry in good form, and that, of course, keeps you going, the whole team, and you know that any time you can get through, you can score a goal.
Nights like this, can you ever imagine leaving the club?
Well, you know, I said, they say, you're tricky. No, it's just, you know, I said it's really important for me to concentrate on the season and see what's going to happen. I said that I will discuss with the club at the end. And one thing I saw a lot of people speculating. One thing you can be sure with me is when I'm on the pitch, I play with my heart and I play 100%. That you can never doubt my commitment when I'm on the pitch. So I hope that people will respect that and see again tonight when I step on the pitch is to play. Sometimes you don't deliver, but when I step on it, I play with my heart.
So, Robbie, a great win for Arsenal tonight. Did you notice a visible lift in the players when Thierry Henry actually came onto the pitch?
You did, Angus. I was sitting right here near the touchline, and you could see the players just galvanised the moment that he came onto the pitch. And the only way I can describe it is sometimes when a team scores a goal and all the players seem brighter, they've got a yard more pace. Well, that happened the moment Henry stepped on the pitch.
Because they've missed the big names. Without Campbell there, the likes of Bergkamp not there, and of course Vieira departed the scene totally. They need something to galvanise them.
Yeah, you need experience, you need presence, and I thought that presence was important in the goal because when Henry controlled it, you saw the defenders step back. that gave him that extra yard that he bent in. It was a wonderful finish, but yeah, they needed the captain out there tonight, and you know, it just gave the team that little bit more confidence.
Robbie, how did the Arsenal back four look tonight, particularly the left-sided pairing of Sigan and Clichy?
I thought it looked a little rocky, actually, Nigel, down that left-hand side. I thought Clichy could have gone a little bit closer to the winger, but, you know, they got the clean sheet, their first clean sheet in 10 away games in the Champions League, so that was important as well, getting the goals, keeping the clean sheet, but it's not quite in your days, the old 1-0 to the Arsenal.
But 3 wins, Robbie, out of 3, they're almost there.
Yeah, they are almost there, and it's a perfect situation now for Arsene Wenger, because they'll pick another point up with the 3 games to come, and then they can start to concentrate on the league form that's been a lot patchy, to say the least.
All right, Robbie, thanks very much indeed.
Pleasure.
Nigel, Arsenal's season has sort of been turned on its head. Usually at this time of the year, we expect them to be top of the Premiership and struggling in Europe. It's completely the opposite this year.
Yeah, and I think it's simple, really, that in the Champions League this season, they've had their big players, their experienced players out with them playing most of the time. And in the Premiership, they've lost their experienced players. They've relied on the young players who are a little bit naive and haven't got that experience of winning games.
And what was instrumental in the victory tonight was actually one of the big players coming on. Now, when we saw Reyes go off, I mean, when we saw him injured, it didn't look like much, did it? For Arsene Wenger more than anything else. But when you look at the statistics, it's quite surprising when you compare to him with Ian Wright. He is the record breaker, but it took him longer than Ian Wright to actually get to that 185.
Yeah, well, Ian Wright's a poacher in the box, score of wonderful goals, but I think you'd find that a lot of Ian Wright's goals would have been in and around the box. Thierry Henry's goals are from all over the pitch, but also is a provider of as many goals as he scores himself.
When you listen to Thierry Henry after a game like that, and he says, "Never doubt my commitment on the pitch," what does that mean?
Well, I think what he's saying at the moment is, you know, he's looking at the situation at Arsenal. I think he feels that if they bring in two or 3 more players, maybe in the January window or at the end of the season, he will be an Arsenal player. But I think he's going to sit back and look at it and say to Arsenal, what are you going to do?
So he's saying to the fans, don't doubt me on the pitch. While I'm here, I will still give my all. But maybe at the end of the season, that's when I'll go.
I think any player that walks onto the pitch gives his all, no matter whether he thinks he's leaving or not. But I think Thierry Henry has not really ever questioned himself leaving Arsenal. He's always said to us, I will be here, I will be an Arsenal player. Now he's saying, don't pressure me into asking about my future, really. I'm gonna make that decision at the end of the season, but I hope he stays, because it would be a big loss to the Premiership if he leaves. Yeah, and Arsenal definitely need him going into a new stadium.
Now, not surprisingly, you cast an eye over a certain left-back that Arsenal was playing tonight, and what did you make of his performance?
Well, I think he's...
So mixed report for him, but you must have been very impressed with Kolo Touré tonight, who showed maturity and speed at the back.
Yeah, I think Touré was outstanding this evening. So simple.
And he can claim the assist for Thierry Henry tonight. It was his ball to him.
It was his ball, yeah.
Okay.
All-time scorers list for the Gunners, breaking Ian Wright's record. His next target, he's 6th in the all-time Premiership scorers list at the moment, with 140 league goals. Teddy Sheringham is 1 ahead. Les Ferdinand has 9 more. Robbie Fowler 13 ahead. Andy Cole 40 more. They're all ahead of him, but within range. Alan Shearer's a long way out in front with 251. Uncatchable? Well, with Henry's phenomenal talent, who knows?
He's the most exciting striker in the world at this moment in time. You know, the goals he scored are phenomenal.
He's a great player. I think obviously his record speaks for itself. He's scored some fabulous goals.
Henry! Oh, brilliant! And Thierry Henry, the man with the golden touch.
If you look at the goals he scores and sometimes how easy it is, you know, how easy he makes it look, and you can really tell that. Yeah, it's just natural to him.
He can finish both feet. You know, he's not scored that many with his head, but you know he can do it. And he scores tap-ins as well as spectacular goals.
It looks like he doesn't make an effort for it.
He's a quality player and everyone knows that. You know, he deserves a record.
The record stood for a long time, Cliff's record stood for a long time, and then Ian came along and broke the record, and you know, everyone felt he was going to break the record, the amount of goals he was scoring. And you thought to yourself, well, that record's going to stand for a long time. And Thierry Henry comes along. You look at it now and you think, how many goals is he going to put on top of that? You know? Absolutely phenomenal, isn't it?
Oh, what a goal! Thierry Henry scores his first for Arsenal.
Henry! What a goal! Henry! Expertly done by the expert. Electrifying. Electrifying. Thierry Henry's in the clear. He really is the in-form man in front of goal. Good skill here from Henry. Oh, outstanding. Outstanding. Sweet as a nut. Henry! What a return for Thierry Henry. This could be the moment it is. Record breaker, history maker. Thierry Henry is Arsenal's record goal scorer.
Brilliant player, obviously, Charlie, but to what degree does his intelligence help? People always call him an intelligent player.
Well, he is, Jeff, because predominantly when he came to the Premiership, he was left-sided wide man, and he would come in off that. Didn't always take you down there because he favours his right. But he gradually got settled in. But, you know, I think a lot of it's just off the cuff. It's so natural, it's inventive. And there's so many great players that we've seen. For instance, Shearer, they'll never reach that record because of the variety of goals he scores. But Henry's I don't think I've ever seen him score a bad goal. You know, everything you see is just, you actually smile and you just respond to a footballer that way. I know some of the opposition fans won't at times, but I think most of the time when you see Henry scoring goals, it's through a bit of genius or quality or blistering pace. And I think all round, just his sheer invention has been the real eye-opener for me. Since he came to this country, there's been the Cantonas and other great players, Jeff, but he, for just being so off the cuff and so fluent and making things up, has been the best that I've seen.
I mean, in some respects, Matt, you know, genius and quality, not the blistering pace, of course, a bit like you in one or two respects. So he scored his first ever goal in this country against Southampton. Did you suspect then you were seeing something special?
Not early on, because I think, as Charlie said, he did struggle early on, and although he took his goal really well down at the Dell, it wasn't something that he thought, Christ, this guy could go on and break Ian Wright's record. It wasn't. I wasn't that perceptive in those days, to be honest. I was more worried about the fact we'd just lost another game, I think. But it's great to watch him play. I love it. I mean, I've always wondered what kind of footballer I would have been if I had had blistering pace, and now I can see.
Yeah, but you look at Arsenal. Hey, the best thing is, Jeff, he's not lying really either, is it? No. There's only him could finish. Matt could finish like him. I think he's the Rolls Royce of strikers.
You had that blistering pace though when you were left winger and Hartlepool's Player of the Year in 1972.
Thank you, Jeff. Yeah, I did. I scored 11 goals one season for Barnsley. You know, so it's you know, Hartlepool was a very important time in my career.
Yeah, I mean, every manager's. I suppose he's every manager's dream, or is he? Because you know, he is prone sometimes to have the smallest of strops and sulks during the course of games, isn't he?
Well, it's a system. I mean, obviously they play to the system, don't they? But some managers might wonder how to get him involved in the system. But with a player of that quality, dear me, you just put the other 10 around him, don't you? He's that good, and I just think it's lovely for when you're watching football, when you're young boys or what have you. You see something special and you remember it, and like Charlie says, you don't see many things that he does that isn't special, do you? Really, that aren't special. He's just a very, very top-class striker.
I mean, one thing that people sometimes overlook, I reckon, Paul, is that he also contributes to others, doesn't he? I mean, goodness knows how many assists he's provided over the years.
Well, that's it, because he loves pulling into that little inside left position. He drags it past, pulls it back for other players, making runs into the box. And he does a bit of everything, doesn't he? And his grace, agility, power, pace. The only thing he doesn't particularly do is head it too often, but I don't think anyone really holds that against him.
How many of those 186 goals do you think have been scored with his head?
6.
2.
7, so you're very close. 7 out of 186 have been scored, and he's 6'1".
They don't get crosses in either, do they, Arsenal? So he's not going to score too many that way.
She likes his voice as well. He's got everything, hasn't he?
Hey, good to karaoke also, I know that.
Having said that, you know, if he'd been at any other Premiership club other than Arsenal, apart from Wigan, that is, he wouldn't have broken a goal-scoring record. because his 186 compares, not too favourably with Dixie Dean's 349, George Campbell at Middlesbrough 325. Arsenal's record goal scoring is the second lowest tally of all the Premiership clubs. So he's still got a way to go yet. Question is, Charlie, will he be at Arsenal to add to that goal scoring tally? Arsene Wenger said this week, I'm not negative about it, but of course we are scared we could lose him.
Well, they should be scared. They should be absolutely petrified in losing this lad. I mean, we knew they would miss Vieira, but I just think the same faults are still there when Vieira was present. Yes, they missed a bit of class and style like they had in midfield, there's no doubt about that. But in Henry's case, you mentioned the goals, and then you also mentioned the assists. And the reason Arsenal
No, not that one. This one. Well, they're all celebrating a birthday today. And to mark their manager turning 56, Arsenal have designated this as Wenger Day at Highbury.
He's a great human being.
What he has done for this club is just amazing.
He always makes the right decisions.
In midweek, one of his special party guests ensured there'd be a double celebration. Thierry Henry scored those 2 Champions League goals to break Ian Wright's all-time club record.
Oh, yes! Another Henry special, and that is the record.
It felt great. I think when the ball went in, I won't lie, I just felt a bit sad because I wanted to do it at Highbury. I always said that if I ever do it, I would like, to do it at Highbury, but there we go. I guess that the fan who did travel can always say that they were there. It's kind of a special story there.
When he scored the first goal the other day, I just went to Lauren and I said, he's the best, look at him.
Every fan of him, every fan of football will appreciate what he has done.
It is my record, but it is Arsenal record. It is a team effort at the end of the day, and without playing for Arsenal, I wouldn't have been in that position.
The record breaking has highlighted just how important Henry's become to Arsenal. It's also reminded everyone that the Frenchman has yet to sign a new contract.
For me, it's not a problem, because when you're a great player, you want to win every game. Have you signed the contract or not signed the contract? It's more problem, I must say, for the medias, to deal with the medias, because you get asked always this question.
The longer you leave it, you could argue that the shorter is left alone in his contract, and therefore he's not as valuable in the open market.
Well, but again, I can only say you have to respect the timing of both parties. And we are ready to talk about it, but you have to respect as well the timing of the player. I feel that he wants to focus on the season. He wants to do as well as he can, and you have to respect that.
What have you said to convince him that this is the place to stay?
Well, unfortunately, that's not up to me, of course. It's all about players making their own decisions, and yeah, I have to make my own decisions in life and in football, and you can say certain things to players, but they have to make their own decisions.
What he's done is just amazing, and we hope he'll continue like this for this club.
Recent league performances have hardly enhanced Wenger's chances of holding on to his striker long term. Defeat at West Brom last weekend means they're now 14 points behind the runaway leaders. This is unlikely to be the manager's happiest birthday since taking charge.
It is very frustrating because we lost 3 games after 3 international interruptions, after having been away 3 times, and after having lost every time 2 or 3 or sometimes 4 players after international interruption, and I feel we paid too high a price for that.
But you're not by any means out of the race yet?
No.
Lee is the former Arsenal representative. Let's ask you first then. I mean, Henry proved how inspirational he is in midweek. How crucial is it that Arsenal keep hold of him?
Well, it's imperative, really. With losing Vieira recently, they need to keep hold of their best players and make no mistake, he's one of the best players in the world. What he's done for Arsenal with his goals, I mean, he scored 49 goals in the last 2 seasons, forgetting this season, but more importantly for me, he's made 49 assists, which just shows what a team player he is. I mean, when he drifts out to that left-hand side, he brings all sorts of players into play in the box. He scores goals himself, assists. He's an all-round team player.
And the thing is with him as well, having played against him plenty of times and been torn apart by him quite often.
Yeah,
I agree with that.
Yeah,
I've got the tape. Just his positional sense and the fact that he is so dangerous allows other people space to create and score goals themselves. Even if he's not touching the ball, he's affecting the game wherever he is on the pitch because you're so worried about him.
Yeah. Laura, you've had a closer look at what Henry brings to the table with Arsenal.
Yeah, well, I mean, the first and foremost is goals. You're a striker, so you're going to score the goals. And the great thing about him on his day, and I'm sure Lee will back me up on this, he can be completely unstoppable. You know about his control, his touch, directness. People just can't get near him. But there's also, as Lee touched upon, that there's another side to him, which I think is why he's one of the best players in the world for me, is he just creates so many opportunities for other people. We circle him. This was at Norwich. This was at Norwich last year, surrounded by all sorts of yellow shirts, as you can see. And you know exactly where the fella's going to go. That's the first thing. So you're defending against him. You think, well, how are we going to stop him? This particular instance, eventually, the left back's also going to have to come in because he's so quick. We've highlighted at the top of the thing Reyes. Now, this is where he's brilliant for me, Henry, because he gets himself in this position. He's occupying 5, 6 Norwich players. And as I said, we know where he's going, but can you stop him? Can you heck stop him? You get on the ball, away he goes, and he just knows where he's going. He knows what's in there. I mean, absolutely brilliant. He's probably occupied 5 or 6 of the opposition players there, and yet he knows where Reyes is, and it's just the simplest of crosses. And not just his goal scoring, but that as well makes him, he's just a sensational player. In America, in like their American football, he would be what you call a franchise player. You would buy a franchise on the back of him.
I like a new toy, by the way.
Nice. Yeah.
Lee,
took me 3 days.
Lee, Arsenal have been synonymous with the likes of Patrick Vieira and Thierry Henry. Are things about to change now at Highbury?
Well, I mean, I thought it was transitional period last year, the introduction of the young players coming through. But with the way Chelsea are playing at the moment, they're playing catch-up all the time, and when the team's in transition and you have to play catch-up as well, it's a difficult time.